it goes like this. The town board came into 2020 with a purpose in mind, to serve the residents and taxpayers by working together, sharing each other's strengths in an effort to move the town forward. This management style builds organizational skills, sets milestones, requires ability to listen, multitask, and work under pressure to get results. I think we've done that. The entire board has worked pretty hard. Little did that we know that the worldwide pandemic called COVID-19 would change our everyday way of life. The world, our countries, all countries, our United States have taken measures to stem the spread of the terrible virus. A second wave has occurred recently, which has required all of us to practice social distancing, wear masks, wash our hands endlessly. New York State has 996,000 confirmed cases and 37,000 plus very unfortunate deaths attributed to the COVID-19. Early in the pandemic, Ulster County Executive Pat Ryan and the County Health Department held 7-day-a-week conference calls with all of the 20 town supervisors and the 3 mayors to discuss the New York Health Department's measures to stem the virus, the spread of the virus. We took direction, we suggested plans, we shared ideas of how your government could help to stem the spread, but also attempt to keep everyday essential services open and available to you, the residents and taxpayers. Presently, these calls are now 1 day a week on Wednesdays. Some of the issues that were addressed were closing our town parks in the town of Orsing on April 10th. Approximately a month later, we opened up again with some restrictions. Short-term rentals we discussed, campgrounds, bungalows, colonies, overnight camps. You know that the governor went through healthcare conditions and opening of the various businesses and camps. Short-term rentals. Nothing, at that point, I don't believe they dealt with that. They looked into it, but didn't make any judgment as a government in the county. We closed Town Hall, which is still closed, to walk through traffic, but from the very beginning and continuously, at the same time providing full service to our residents by phone, mail, email, or at the door. The town clerk's office, with Jackie Kyer as town clerk, was the hub for the service for the town clerk, the supervisor's office, the building department, the court office, assessor's office, recreation office, the accounting office. The accounting office was opened from the counter throughout 2020, which is behind us in a separate building. Plexiglass shields were constructed in each department, as well as employees wearing masks, just as all businesses have done. All of our employees are to be commended for their dedication to their job, their families, and residents and taxpayers. Ulster County created the COVID-19 dashboard, stating the number of active cases, recovered, and unfortunate deaths attributed to COVID-19. A point of reference is that on December 2nd, 2020, in the town of Orsing, there were 34 active cases and 215 confirmed cases from the very beginning, with 5 very unfortunate fatalities. Today's numbers, just a little more than a month later, they were at 107 yesterday, and now they're back to 102 active cases, 336 confirmed cases, and 6 fatalities. Early on in the pandemic, the town emergency coordinator, Chan Rivera, and the town board held meetings with all of our fire district personnel, the ambulance squad, the judges, Ellenville Regional Hospital Steve Kelly, to sync and agree to protocols to take measures when protecting our volunteers and the residents of the town. We worked with Ulster County Deputy Director Emergency Services Mike Gaffney, whereby Chan Rivera, our emergency response coordinator, drove to Kingston at least 8 times to be provided PPE, masks, gloves, and sanitizers. We delivered 700 masks to the senior housing complexes, 2 in Ellenville on Canal and Center and 1 by the hospital. Additionally, we serviced 14 places of worship with masks, gloves, and sanitizer. Ulster County government created the Project Resilience food delivery service at the end of March, and the town of Orsing started the program here in the lobby of the town hall, and then shifted to the Pioneer Firehouse with a large number of wonderfully dedicated volunteers who delivered 15,000 meals through May 5th of 2020. The town of Orsi signed on to the New York State mandated emergency preparedness plan to establish fundamentals of reducing the spread of COVID. We're still in the process of finalizing that. Ulster County will have 2 distribution centers for the vaccine, one of which will be at Kingston High School Fieldhouse, and Ellenville Regional Hospital is giving the vaccine. Ellenville Regional Hospital is giving the vaccine now, but they will be 2 of the distribution centers. You can go online at ny.gov/vaccine to see if you are eligible. Just go online, it's pretty easy to do. Despite the challenges that we've had with COVID, the town did move forward in 2020. The 2020 budget was a 0.35 increase tax levy from 2019, and the 21 budget is at 0% increase from the tax levy in 2020. The 2020 revenues and expenditures were closely monitored throughout the year, and there were some shortfalls as well as services that were not provided as scheduled. The Ellenville Youth Commission did not operate the summer camp. Unfortunately, we tried to do it. We came up with some ideas of delivering meals. We had a lot of time. We spent a lot of time here trying to do it, and I'd like to thank the board members that were involved in those liaisons, Mr. Briggs at that time and Roger, I believe, at that time, that we're looking at with Sam Bugner to try to, do something that we could end up doing, but that didn't really work out. The summer program was not run, and we actually rolled over those funds into the general fund balance. The New York State CHIPS highway funding for 2020, which normally is in the 500 plus range, 500,000 plus, was reduced by 20%, and it definitely is expected to be cut in 2021. The New York State AIM, or Aid and Incentives to Municipalities, we did receive the 45,000 that we've received in previous years. So that was a good thing. The sales tax, actually, we looked at it, and actually we increased from $207,909 to $209,390. So we actually made a couple thousand more than the previous year. So that is good. The Town of Orsing Assessors report. I have some department reports. We have a new assessor, Renee Oldzimik, in her first year with the town, offering a wealth of experience from where she's come to in her career, and we were lucky to have her as an assessor. Exemptions, mailing of exemption renewals, processing, approving, and filing of forms, reminding phone calls that were made to property owners as the deadline was approaching this year. Renewals were for nonprofit exemptions. Approximately 550 exemptions are processed each year. Disabled veterans, letters were sent to them, disabled veterans, to confirm the disability. Deeds and property transfers were approximately 380 deeds, sales, foreclosures, transfers to trust, life estates. Data collector, we had a part-time data collector for several weeks. This was a tremendous help since he was able to review the condominium inventory and catch up on the village building permits and many of the town building permits. Together, we worked on a few requests for reviews, including mixed-use commercial properties. The work was carried out fast and accurately with 2 people in the field. Once back in the office, photos were uploaded onto the computer. Small claims, we had small claims filed and prepared comparable sale information for each. And then the hearings were held by email, which is different because of the COVID. Tax certiorari's, we had a property owner. We had 5 of those, all residential properties. We had corrections of errors that were filed with the Ulster County due to exemptions not being applied and the property being assessed at the wrong acreage mileage. So Renee was catching a lot of stuff that had to be done and has to be done. Omit pro rata forms were filed with the county. Building permits, the building department and the assessor, if you don't know, work hand in hand with each other. State-owned land, each year the assessor receives a list of state-owned parcels from ORPS. They are reviewed by our acreage amount differs if the acreage differs from theirs, ranging from a couple of acres to over 140 acres. A letter was sent to appraising ORPS of the differences. Ongoing all the time is lot line improvements, changes to assessments, and tax maps. You can get a hold of her by telephone, email, inquiries. The next category would be the tax collector. The report shows $14,971,698 to be raised by taxes, $8,710,004 for the town, and $6,261,693 for Ulster County. Robin Anderson, a longtime tax collector, has a hard job, but does a great job for you, the taxpayers. The Highway Department employees, under normal conditions, have a tough job, but with these COVID-19 challenges, they have gone above and beyond on many occasions to keep our roads safe for you and our community. Approximately 16 miles of roads were paved or chip sealed. There were 45 culvert pipes that were replaced. 8 catch basins were installed. 2 crews were out with trucks 5 days a week, weather permitting, cutting down most dead ash trees, but any potentially dangerous tree and limbs. In the past couple of years, Mr. Pays has discussed with the board, and we've purchased bucket trucks for that purpose, and we have 2 5-man crews. The Highway Department normally maintains 13 cemeteries every year, but Fentanyl Cemetery is one that is not one of them owned by the town of Worthing, but as a lot of people may know, it is come in disrepair. There's cemeteries in New York State have a hard time making a go of it, and we've actually invested approximately $32,000 into assisting and making it a safe cemetery, cutting trees, plowing the snow off the roads, cutting a lot of the big dead trees and disposing of them. And it should be noted that the Fentanyl has a caretaker and existing agreement with the contractor addressing trees and property as well. The town signed a 5-year contract with the transfer station's Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency at the same cost to the taxpayers as the previous 5-year contract. 2021 permits are $60 and $50 for seniors 65 and older for all the services. Building Department report. They issued 404 building permits totaling $82,782 with a value of $18,376,449. There were 274 certificates of occupancy / compliance. There were 1,482 building inspections. There were 98 fire and safety inspections, 22 re-inspections totaling $8,241. The ZBA had 5 appeals with 8 meetings throughout the year. Planning board totals to date are $39,490 for subdivision and site plans. Then we go to the court office. The state of the court is functioning since last May through the staff's incredible efforts. The public's access to justice remains uninterrupted. In 2019, the court reported a total of $293,928.50 to New York State Comptroller. In 2020, the court reported a total of $234,262 to the New York State Comptroller. The difference is attributed in part to the COVID-19 restrictions on the operations of the court. Village Town Parks Commission, New York Department of Corrections, O&W Rail Trail. The town's highway department continues to progress this project. In 2020, the section of trail from the crossing of Institution Road north to the Decker Bridge was completed. A half-mile of split rail fencing was installed from Institution Road south to the project boundary. Discussions with Senator Jen Metzger resulted in being approved for a $100,000 grant, which should be available in 2021 for the Port Bend Bridge. Pavilions. The project added a 3rd pavilion at Lippman Park and erected a new pavilion on the grounds of Burn Road Park, as Town of Worthing was the fiscal lead agency. Ulster County provided partial funding for this project for both pavilions. Playground. The town added an additional set of playground features and associated site at Lippman, making it 3 playground units at Lippman. Borders and official playground mulch were provided throughout the area. The golf course. The Village of Ellenville reported a successful year in its first year of operation, which is a village entity. COVID-19. The town and village were able to move through the various phases of initial closure and gradual safe opening of the park facilities as guided by the Department of Health regulations regarding COVID-19. Residents and visitors heavily visited parks facilities this year. It's unclear if this boom in visitation will continue in future years. Signage and wayfinding, the Park and Recreation Commission, which Roger and myself are on, hired a design firm called Merge to create a signage and wayfinding plan for the village and the town. The town and village next steps are to obtain funding to complete a first phase of installation. The design guidelines developed in the plan will be used for any signage that the municipalities install one-off using municipal funding or in replacements of existing signs. Elba Warsing Youth Commission. Mr. Briggs and Roger also worked on this. January through March, scheduled activities took place like the Friday night movies. Camp registrations, securing staff, trip planning, expanding spring fling, and the community recycling initiative. Once COVID-19 hit the town board, the town board was forced to cancel the youth summer program. Therefore, all camp fees were then refunded. Staff were given alternate duties, such as working on and changing the townofwawarsing.net website to wawarsingny.gov. So please go on to that new site. That's www.wawarsingny.gov. So again, please check out that site. The Environmental Conservation Committee report, Jack Griffo assisted with this. They monitored and coordinated the New York Rural Association water study. The study will be completed in March of 21. Continue with the Riverkeeper and the Roundout Creek Watershed Alliance to monitor and improve the health of the Roundout Creek. They participated in the Ulster County Environmental Management Council. They continued to promote and lobby for the conservation of Colony Farm as open space. Everybody knows about Colony Farm and our intentions and hopes that it can be kept as a open space property. Work with the town, village, parks, and recreation commission. And then new efforts for the ECC are to promote a beautification plan for Route 209 and 4455 intersection prepared by Jamie Larson. That's directly across the road on 209 by the tire center there. Climate Smart Community Program efforts. Since the town took the Climate Smart Pledge on December 19th, the task force and coordinator have been appointed, and the commission task force has worked with Ulster County Cornell Cooperative Extension to complete the Climate Smart Resiliency Planning Tool, which is designed to evaluate opportunities for the town to improve the community's resilience to flooding and climate change. Created and submitted a plan of proposed actions for the town to consider in its efforts to meet the demands of climate change. Started applying for credits for actions that the town has already taken, which the credits lead to grants. Agreed to work with Ulster County Cornell Cooperative Extension in 2021 to complete and submit actions for the DEC approval to reach the bronze level and increase the eligibility for future grant funding, as I just said. The new Wawarsing Water District is a lot of work, and it's been going on for a couple of years. The water line will run from Institution Road to Kerhonkson Water Line. The actual district that DEP, New York City DEP, created through the USGS studies the actual district will provide water to the residents from the Trooper Barracks to just north of the Tractor Supply. So that is the actual defined district, and all the off streets off of 209. The New York State Department of Corrections were friendly neighbors and allowed the town to install 3 wells at Eastern Correctional's property in 2018. 2019, we defined the Wawarsing District with assistance of the DEP and funding and created a 30% plan. We completed plans in 2020 and have received regulatory approvals from the New York City Health and the DEC. The water treatment plant will be named the Stephen F. Bradley Building, which will be located just off of Institution Road, and will be bid out in February and completed this year. A 483,000 gallon water storage tank was bid out and will be completed early this year. The transmission line bid was completed, and should be completed during the summer. The project support team and schedule. The team over the last 3 years includes the late Stephen F. Bradley, who served as a consultant. Everybody knows he was on the board for 10 plus years and was a very big part of getting this project off the ground. Chazen Engineering's of Poughkeepsie, New York, Town Attorney Bill Kyer, Town Water and Sewer Supervisor Jim Montagna, Town Council members Paul Tozolino, Cassie Spohr, New York State DEP Commissioner Paul Rush, Judith Clark, Bill Richardson, and I held countless meetings, which included public meetings, presenting the district plan, and signing of easements by our residents. We thank everyone that's been a part of this creation of this Warsing Water District. The project future, we look forward to working with many contractors over the next year and a half. We've developed construction phases, which are about 8 phases, to encourage multiple local contractor opportunities to bid and execute this work. The Carron Sewer main pump station generator has just recently been replaced. We had a problem with that, and luckily there were no damage that was too bad, and in the process of that being replaced. So the Carron water line project is another project that's been going on for approximately at least a year. That's Ulster Houck Construction. They're doing a great job. They're actually down to their last part of the the project. If you're familiar with Mill Street over the bridge, they have to go across the creek from Mill Street to Wood Street, and that really wraps up the entire project. The Carron water line improvements to that district, phase 3 USDA funding, was a $6.8 million total cost, $53,000 town, $600,000 grant, $600,000 NYSHCR grant, 2.68 million, 2.68 million USDA loans, and 3.4 million USDA grants. So it's a project that's $6.8 million. Continuation and completion of the improvements to the Napanoch sewer collection system, phase 6, sanitary manhole and vitrified clay pipe sewer rehabilitations. At this time, all clay pipe has been relined and all known manholes have been sealed, including installation of manhole lid inserts to minimize inflow into the manholes, and that was a $750,000 grant. For 2021, we're completing the Carron water line project, as I mentioned, which is at this point only has to go again through Mill Street to Wood. Commence and complete the $750,000 grant improvement to the Carron sewer collection system, the sanitary manhole and sewer lateral connection rehabs, and commence and possibly complete improvements to the Carron wastewater treatment through USDA funding. So to wrap this up with the grants and the projects there, the elimination of major projects puts the town of Warsing in a position to capitalize reserve funds to make the necessary improvements, as it goes a long way for things to reach to crisis stage before addressing problems, assuming grants won't be available in the short-term future. Thus, it is vital not to neglect water and sewer infrastructure using a penny-wise, pound-foolish mentality. We're very lucky that we've had Mark Blauer getting these grants. The employees that work with us are competent and good, and I'd like to thank the board for working on this for the last few years, and it's a good thing for Napanoch and Carron. Collectively, the town board found different ways to do business and to reach you during this COVID. The taxpayer, because of COVID-19, Councilman Tozolino has done a great job organizing Zoom meetings for the village government, the town board, planning board, and zoning boards. A Town of Warsing Facebook page has been created, which has allowed us to give our community information, activities, and events staged by many of our volunteer organizations. We plan on doing a lot more of putting stuff on Facebook in 2021, and to put out the word and put out the activities and the events for not just the town of Warsing, but also to point you in the right direction of anything that's going on in the town. The official town website has been changed from townofwarsing.net to warsingny.gov. please go to our new website. Is there gonna be, where's Paul? Is there gonna be a slight delay in the access? You can go into that
Nope.
now?
It's fully operational right now.
Okay, so it's fully operational right now.
Still got some cosmetic repairs to do, but it's functional and it's fully operational.
Okay, so there's some cosmetic issues that we'll deal with and make it the best we can make it. There are plans to create a YouTube channel which can be archived and available to everyone. Hopefully in the immediate future, we'll be able to provide our meetings like we have always on Channel 23. That's one of my pet peeves. I've been a little upset about not providing it, but we went through a transition with our IT service, and I expect that to be up and running in the near future. In closing, the town board is looking forward to serve you, the taxpayers, and provide the best services at the lowest cost to you. The town board is looking forward to a healthy and prosperous 2021 for everyone concerned. Thank you.